Alright, hi, welcome to the first episode of Running on Pixels, and today we're going to start. We're just going to go right ahead into it. Yeah. Now, Running on Pixel, now run, like that was a... Man, I hate video games, I'm just going to be honest. Like, I actually find no enjoyment in video game. Okay, like, that's not true, right? Not these types, at least. I love open world games where you can go around and, like, there's this, this completely fictional world that models the real world, you know. And that's probably just because I'm actually desperate for actual real world interactions that I have I have went with the surrogate mother replacement of them through video games, right? Which is funny because I don't even do that, but I mean that's kind of that might be the explanation for it if we want to go think about it a little bit deeper. But yeah, no, like like yes, this is a gaming channel, but I mean I gotta be upfront. I am not a gamer. I do not spend time playing video games. This is really just a hustle to make money. All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. There are too many distractions out in the world, and guess what? This is one of them. You have been warned. If you're watching this right now, I mean, I hope that at least I can like give you some lessons that none of your parents have taught you, or something like that. Even though we probably are not that far apart in terms of like shortcomings and lack of experience, but whatever. Yeah, man. Like, yeah, I actually, if you want to talk about video games that I played, I guess this would be one of them, right? And the other stuff in the Coolmath universe or something, catalog. But I mean, I'm more of a sucker for real life games. Like I mean, like there was a time when that I feel like is very distant now, right? Nobody like, is basically like the go-to method now is that parents buy their kids an iPad at least, and then that becomes their replacement for attention, right? The device will give you attention, at least fictional ones. But yeah, come on, man. And that was just the method that people went to, at least are going to. Man, I know if I'm gonna have a kid, they're gonna get a book or something like that. They're not gonna get no freaking iPad. Like, come on, like if I wanted their brain fried, I would. No, okay, no, I can't say that. But yeah, like I mean, talk about slowly torturing a child, right? Through that method, you know. But yeah, I was I was like, if there was any element, I guess of like the thing I had was television, right? The internet, like it wasn't really that big a thing, like well, no, what am I talking about? It was a big thing, right? But it was like a rarity, right? Because um, we didn't. We'd use the McDonald's Wi-Fi or something like that. It's not like it was a constant thing, but now it's changed. I mean, the world has developed to such a way so as that it needs you to have an internet connection. It needs you to be connected into this, you know, social media, uh, environment, right? I mean, you could stick to having an old phone, but I mean, there's just so many things that now it requires you of because it is online. It kind of makes me think about how like at least the city, right? The city like demands of you that you need a car, right? You need a car to get from place to place. It's not anymore like the days back then where like the car was a good commodity to have. Like no, I mean cars are basically replacing people at this point with how many they are of them. It's a great atrocity to see. But I mean, that's the type of world we're accelerating, right? And what better thing to represent that than to run this game where the freaking alien, right? I mean, like aliens, symbol for like high technology, advancements. Where this alien, this goofy dumpling-looking alien, right, with the antennas, is perpetually moving forward in this completely, you know, in space, right? Just moving forward, and that's its whole plan. Move forward, keep accelerating, keep producing. That's the direction we're headed. And unfortunately, guess what? I'm headed in that way, right? I'm saying like, but yeah, I could actually make some money with this. Like with some gaming channel. I mean, I used to watch them, and it was really for games that I wouldn't like buy myself. And my favorite parts about watching like gameplay at least was you know, the cutscenes, right? Because it resembled more something like film, and I actually like movies more. I mean, I grew up more on television than video games, right? But yeah, like I mean, it's just I know the feeling too. Like it's like when you realize like there's this moment where you just realize when you're excessively entertained with something and you just realize like what have I done like this entire day. I have never liked the feeling of being too wrapped up in a world and like, or playing a game where I step out of it and I'm like, you know, like I can't take any of it with me, and it's like it's a fantasy, you know, and it's like, yeah, I believed it. I mean, I knew it was fake all along, and you know, in the back of my head, but like now what am I left with, right? Like like I still haven't achieved anything. Like, yes, I achieved this side quest in the game or whatever, but what about the side quest in my own life, right? I mean, have I rescued my loved ones or something like that, or have I helped out others as much as I have, you know, helped out, you know, innocents in like a superhero game or something? Like, no, and that's the thing with these kinds of games, right? I mean, that's the point, right? Like, I feel like it is. Like, it's this artificial, you know, sensation as if you actually did accomplish something, even though the task is basically arbitrary to, you know, within reality, and is given meaning within the game world or something like that. Like, yes, I can run, right? I can pass through all of this, or I can just keep dying because I suck at doing this, at playing games, video games. And I can win, and I get to the next level. And what does that mean? It's just, oh yeah, like, you accomplished, you were able to move, you were able to press long enough and release right enough at the certain keys at the moment to, you know, achieve what you wanted to. But yeah, like, man, I miss that, like, I can really call it magic, even, like, the magic of, like, you know, playing as a child. Like, I have such a kind of nostalgia for it, you know, and it's like, you try to replicate it now, and it's like, it's not the same at all. Like when you could pick up your toys and your plushies, and, you know, with others, you know, you would literally just make up a story together, and you would, like, pick it up along, and, you know, you'd improvise off of one another, and, you know, you'd build it off, and it'd be a great funny thing, you know, and, you know, inspired by, you know, the children's content and movies that you grew up in, and, you know, you kind of made it your own, and it would never exist ever again, too. Like, you know, like, it's like a theater piece, I feel, but I wasn't, you know, we weren't no theater kids, you know, we weren't trying to be. I certainly wasn't. I don't care about being a theater kid, but it was you know, it was like putting on a show that would never be put on again. It was like that point in that moment, and, you know, something about it made it special, and it's like, it's funny because I don't even remember most of the stuff that it entailed. I just remember having great fun at it, you know, and of course there were moments when, like, yeah, we got bored, and it's like, just turn on the television or something, you know, something like that. But I mean, like, that's another thing that, you know, I don't know, like, boredom is good, you know, like, and it's like, I feel like that constant, you know, it's like an addict, right? Like, you've been so accustomed your whole life to just going to distractions whenever, you know, like, you were bored, that you cannot deal with boredom yourself. You cannot, like, be passive with it. And so, you know, you go towards consuming things like me, for example, or, you know, PewDiePie, or like Jacksepticeye, or Markiplier, or something like that. And of course, yeah, I mentioned these names again, and it's like, they've done more stuff than, you know, than the now, right? But at the beginning, they were all just gaming channels. But I mean, and, you know, like, even that kind of content, like, I don't even get, right? Like, reactionary, superficial level, like, reactions, again, yeah, to a game as it's happening on screen. Not anything much deeper than that, you know, like, seeing a person get mad or something, you know, reminding you that, like, how primitive we are. I don't know, I like to think about stuff like that, like, rage quitting. I mean, it's funny to watch, but, you know, like, I don't know, it just kind of gets boring after a while, this kind of content. You know, we're so oversaturated, and, you know, like, I mean, I feel like the alien is me, at least at this point. You know, I'm trying to search for something that will fulfill. You know, I'm doing it through, you know, the playing of this. You know, I'm trying to give myself an excuse, being like, yeah, I don't play games. I don't like playing video games, but I'm doing this for the money now, right? Like, I don't like the way of thinking about that either. You know, because I just sound like a greedy, you know, son of a gun, and it's like, I don't know. I just like to, you know, do something like good with the money, you know, rather than just, like, have it to have it, you know. It's like, kind of thing. Who knows? Yeah, I'm trying to keep this video under, like, 20 minutes or something, so it's not too much of a hassle to upload either. So even then, I'm trying to make shortcomings with that. But yeah, you know, like, back to talking about, like, you know, old-fashioned video game playing. Yeah, we didn't play video games. We live them, all right? I'm your grandpa right now. Yeah, back in our day, it was so much better. You know, you actually you actually had to go outside and, you know, create things on your own. And, you know, like, yeah, so, like, nobody likes listening to old people, but, yeah, guess what? You're gonna turn into one day, you know? I mean, I'm pretty young right now, but, you know, like, I never understood that. Like, yeah, sometimes old people, you know, they sure like to go on about their life story, you know? But, and yeah, sometimes it is excessive, and it's like, sometimes they don't even, like, let you a chance to even talk, right? It's like they're too busy focusing on, you know, but sometimes I like to hear. Not anymore, but, you know. God, come on, I keep jumping over here, and it's like there's a little bit of sliding, because I'm not going the whole way, and if I go the whole way, that's what happens, whatever. So yeah, it is, you know, mastery of that, but, like, man, yeah, here we go. Maybe if I try different. Another thing that I saw about this game is that, like, I don't know, like, I guess these kind of video games, like, I mean, split-second decisions are a whole lot, but they can also teach you something about, like even right now, like, as I'm playing this, I'm seeing that I'm taking on familiar patterns as I'm playing, right? Like, I'm playing in a certain type of way, and it's like a brute force method, right? And it's like, I don't know, I just thought that, there would be something more, like, creative to my approach, right? Like, trying to see how to do things differently. But no, like, and I'm curious as if probably those patterns do manifest in real life, too. When you're trying to keep doing something and repeat it, and it doesn't get right. And then, yeah, we don't play like we used to anymore, like, out in the park, out in the forest, out in your backyard anymore, like that. You know, like, the last time, you know, that I can even remember something like that was recess, you know. And in a way, like, I think that, you know, that kind of lost with playing outside. You know, like, so many people are, you know, they want to act like adults now, right? And how does this correlate, you would say, right? How does it correlate that, you know, like, not playing any, like, games outside, you know, corresponds to, you know, being an adult? And, well, for one, playing with your toys is a childish act, right? You know, using your imagination to, you know, to, like, play around with others, you know, is a childish thing. Well, it's seen as. But the way that the adult has taken that is that now, instead of, you know, making your forest into, like, a kind of, like, castle, like, your backyard is, you know, is actually a hill where a castle lays, and you are the king of it, and your friends are the plebeians who are trying to murder you, but they also have to obey you, you know. Now, right, I feel like the partying, you know, especially those with you know, alcohol and recreational substances, that is our go-to usage of imagination, right? Like, no longer do we have imaginary friends, right? But I do have, you know, these third world entities, dude, that when I tripped on acid, they were talking to me, right? But no imaginary friends now, right? The drug is doing the kind of thing, and, you know, the actual fun that I'm having, it depends on how much alcohol I have in my system. I don't drink, and I hope I won't have to do that or take any substances. But I do see that that is the go-to method, at least for now. Like, the playground is the party now. It has changed into that, you know. And some people don't, like, for as much as they want to act like adults, there are immature aspects of ourselves, you know, that remain from childhood, and that just have not been dealt with properly. And, you know, I would much rather deal with it, like, with the imagination of, like, a child, rather than, like, trying to pose as, like, some adult or something like that, with you know, with just reenactments that, you know, they could be said to be more, like, I don't know, not kid-friendly or something like that. That's just sad. But yeah, like, the way I kind of see it, too, is that, you know, the school system is, in its way, like, an institution trying to, like, teach you how to become an adult, right? You wake up at a certain time, and you go to school, and this would actually be, you know, your job. You wake up at a certain time, and you go to your job, and, you know, early in the morning, and then you go there. But in here, you know, you take instructions, and you will obey just like you will in your job. And, you know, the cutoff point where I really think that if I'm trying to make this point, drive this point home of, you know, being an adult and, you know, playing outside, you know, with your toys, and, you know, the party analogy and everything like that, I feel like this starts to make sense in the point where, at least at school, recess became, like, at the point where recess was just cut off, right? Like, you reach this one point and you're like, what? So you're telling me in middle school they don't have recess? And you're like, yeah, no, they don't. And then you're just like, what? But like, what are we even supposed to do at that time? You know? Turns out a lot of other stuff. Just more stuff, more of the same stuff. You know, I guess lunchtime was the only release then. Right, but yeah, it's you know, so yeah, the moment that recess was cut from it, the more it was kind of, you know, the education system was kind of thrusting one into like the full world of adults now. Adults don't have recess, you know. There's not a time where you play when you work, you know. I mean, you will have a break. Lunchtime is that, you know, but other than that, right? If you want recess, you know, you wait until you get out of school, and you go do it, right? And well, yeah, that's how it's kind of been. We need to use more of our imagination and stop relying on people like me to pacify you, you know, for your entertainment. Which is funny because I'm trying to make money out of this, right? Like, I'm trying to be like a good gamer, a good gaming channel that will provide you the slop you need. But like, I'm sorry, like, I'm so against this type of content. But hey, that's not gonna stop me. I'm gonna keep producing more of these, you know, and hopefully y'all can tune in to hear my ramblings about, you know, state of things, you know, and my personal opinions about them, you know. First episode, you know, here we go. May it be like a great show from here on out, you know. Hopefully we'll have some guests on, but, you know, we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, I'm not gonna pass this level, and I'm past my runtime, so you know what? Thank you very much for watching this. This was Running on Pixels, and goodbye. I think I need a better end for that. Actually, yeah. This was Running on Pixels. Goodbye, toe. No, I wanted to like, you know, next episode we're gonna start it with like, "What's up, toe suckers?" You know, that's gonna be the opening, right? Because I have so much respect for my audience that's how I'm gonna address them. But yeah, bye, toe suckers.